Hey funnel builders, Mike here from sellyourservice.co.uk, and today I want to talk to you about how to find your first $25,000 marketing funnel customer. Now this might sound like kind of clickbait style hyperbole, but in fact there's a remarkably simple process behind finding a customer that's willing to pay $25,000 for your marketing funnel services. I want to share what's worked with me. I want to share a few things that we've tried that haven't worked, and most importantly I want to share with you a process that you can repeat, and you'll see that $25,000 is a pretty medium level for you to be able to shoot at, and you can go a lot further. The main problem that a lot of funnel builders face is they feel that $25,000 is so much higher than anything else they've ever charged that they would feel really cheeky asking for that amount from a customer. And that's kind of part of the problem, is they feel that they're asking for $25,000 in exchange for doing some stuff for them. And instead we're going to flip that model on its head, and anyone who knows my pricing strategy and pricing philosophy knows how I like to put the price first. We're also going to look at the reason why you might have struggled to find $25,000 or even $1,000 projects before. I only had a customer call me up yesterday, or another funnel builder call me up yesterday and say, hey man, one of my customers is saying to me that this project for £100, 100 British pounds a month is quite expensive. Do you think that's right? Do you think that I should be charging less than that? And I was like, man, you should be charging £100 a day for that kind of service, not £100 a month. So it's about the positioning side of what it is that we do, but also a big part of it is who we work with. So let's kind of scale this back. When we start talking about a $25,000 client, what is it that we're actually asking for? And a lot of the time we think that we'll start talking to a customer or a company or a business, and they'll say, hey, we need a bunch of these kind of projects, and we need a bunch of this stuff to go on. We've got a problem with traffic and email subscribers and sales letters and all this kind of stuff. And we'll say, okay, great, we'll go away, we'll build it, we'll write out everything we think we need to deliver, and then we'll think, oh, can I charge $25,000 for it? And this needs to be completely flipped on its head. Like, the entire process that we go through needs to be started from the top. The reason that you will struggle to find $25,000 clients, or it could be $100,000, it could be $1 million clients, is typically because we have a mindset of trying to sell into a network that we're already a part of. And the two key problems with that is, if you yourself have never bought a $25,000 project, chances are you're not going to know anyone in your area who also has bought a $25,000 project. Therefore, people are unlikely to buy $25,000 projects from you. And what we need to start doing is thinking backwards about, okay, well, who is it that can afford $25,000 and who needs $25,000 worth of value? We're going to split this into two. First of all, we're going to look at the price, and secondly, we're going to look at how we actually find one of those customers. And yeah, with that, I think you'll see that the process of finding a 25k customer isn't as complicated as you might think. It's also not as scary or intimidating. So what we're going to do is we're going to split this, like I said, and we've got price and we've got project. What most people do is, as funnel builders, they get really good at talking about about what it is that they do. Okay, they focus on the project side. They say, yeah, you know, we build sales letters, and we build pages, and we build automation, and we've got all this kind of cool stuff. And what we do is we can take Facebook remarketing and help businesses increase the amount of traffic and subscribers that they get, blah, 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 blah. And we go on and on and on in this kind of fashion. And what ends up happening is we tend to think, well, okay, I need to try and find someone who wants all of this stuff kind of packaged together in the broadest possible sense, calling it a funnel. And then when we start talking to people and they go, and I don't know, let's say we have Bob, and Bob runs an e-commerce site that sells books or sells courses or sells microphones or whatever it is. And Bob says, hey man, yeah, I'm looking to start selling more and starting to talk to my customers a bit more. Can you help me? We go, yeah, fantastic. We have a conversation with Bob. We put together a bunch of stuff that we think he needs in some kind of proposal. And then we say to him, we think that this would be around $10,000. Okay? Bob then comes back to us and says, that's a little bit more than I was expecting to pay. I mean, we only make $1,000 a month, so that would be kind of a year's salary there, a year's worth of revenue just to kind of increase it. And then we go back and forth and we say, yeah, but if you want to increase the amount of traffic that you're getting and increase the customers you're getting, then of course you're gonna have to spend money. You have to spend money to make money. The reality is that that doesn't have a lot of margin for Bob on his e-commerce site. This reason here is also why we struggle to make referrals. Let's take your mum, okay, or your dad. I've been doing this a long time, and my mum's pretty good, you know. In fact, she actually helps us with a lot of our social media work, but she still doesn't really fully understand the intricacies of what I do. It's also very, very difficult for someone, anyone, not just my mum, your mum, it could be anyone. It's very difficult for someone to make referrals when they think about what it is you do. When we have this model, we're focusing on what we do, and that's very difficult to make referrals into. Even if they come across people in their network who could use your services, it's really tough for them to say, oh, you should speak to my son, you should speak to my daughter, you should speak to my friend, my colleague. Even your previous customers will struggle to make referrals when you only focus on what it is you do. This is a very dangerous area to be in, and as funnel builders, we often become really, really good at explaining what we do, but we struggle to generate referrals for this reason. It's almost impossible for other people to make referrals when they focus on what you do. What is also the easiest way to start negotiating on price. So as soon as someone says, oh, what it is that you do, you start focusing, even if you focus on results and benefits, and you start saying things like, yeah, you know, we can generate a 7-to-1 ROI, or even a 3-to-1 ROI would be outstanding. Or we build the world's best marketing automation sequences, or we build the world's best sales pages, or we write the most high converting sales letters. Focusing on what is a really easy way for people to be able to negotiate down. So instead, we're going to flip this entire model on its head. Now, first of all, if this looks like something you've tried to do, so you've focused on the stuff you want to put together, you call yourself a funnel builder, you're focusing on what it is that you do, you've somehow managed to find someone who wants to talk to you, you say we're going to charge $10,000 and they want to try and bring you down, partly because it's too much or the budget's not right or whatever, let me know in the comments below, okay? If this is you at the moment, let me know in the comments below. So we're going to flip this model on its head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all of this stuff, and instead I'm going to say to us, right, I want to, and I talked about this in a previous video, I want to make $100,000 this year, okay? And I know that that is for $25,000 clients, okay? I then think, well, of that, I've roughly got a budget of around 30%, which gives me about $7,200 to spend on outsourcing. Okay, so it's not me doing the work. The rest of it's going to go to things like profit and tax and all this kind of stuff. I've got roughly $7,200. Now, assuming that someone's going to pay me, I'm just going to assume that someone's going to pay me $25,000. What can I deliver them for that money? And all of a sudden, knowing that I've got $7,200 to spend on their project, I'm probably going to change the scope of the project a little bit. So I might start thinking, okay, well, maybe $7,200 for that, for $25,000, that gets them 12 months worth of things like hosting and updates, maybe. For me personally, it doesn't, but maybe when you start off, it does. Maybe they also get 12 months of monthly coaching. Notice how we haven't even got to a funnel page yet. We then think, all right, well, $25,000, I think for that particular amount of money, I want to focus on generating them sales. I'd rather not increase their email list because I really want to generate sales for them, because I think that sales is the fastest way for them to be able to generate that money back. So I think, okay, we'll have 2 sales funnels. And in that, we'll have the main sales page. We'll also do them a sales letter page. We'll have a checkout page, which will be kind of like our shopping cart. Man, that is a good drawing of a shopping cart. We'll also have an upsell page. and then maybe a downsell page as well if they decide not to go for that, and a delivery page, okay? And maybe this will go to a delivery page as well. So we have that, and we'll do that twice, right? We have a video one, and we have a sales letter one. In order to generate $25,000, those two sales funnels have to generate $25,000. For the sake of ease, and we'll be a bit generous, we'll say that's $10,000 each, okay? Can I hire someone for $7,200, essentially, to build out those pages, bearing in mind there's plenty of software and stuff, like we use, obviously, Beaver Funnels, which is our own one, to build out all of that there, and generate $10,000 across the space of a year to justify that price? Because remember, on one of our previous videos, I talked about $2,500 could just be roughly $2,100 per month over 12 months, which doesn't sound that much. You know, it doesn't sound like a huge amount. Once we've got all of that, have you noticed we've flipped this on its head? We've said, what can we deliver for $25,000? And we say, well, this is two $10,000 sales funnels, okay? We could even say it's two $15,000 sales funnels. I would then say to myself, well, is that 15, oh, it's 10,000, sorry, 10,000. Is that 10 $1,000 sales, or is it 1,000 $10 sales, or is it somewhere in the middle? Is it $100 sales? Which again doesn't sound insane, does it? Generating 100 sales at $100 to get 10,000 doesn't sound that insane. This part here, when we identify the types of products and the types of services that we want to start selling, leads us onto the second half of the equation. Now, Ryan Dice really beautifully explained this, so I'm going to completely rip his off. Businesses are defined by the markets they serve, not the products they sell. That is to say, who rather than what. Let's say you get into your head and you understand that part of your business model is to help businesses sell $100 products over the space of a year, and to do that twice. So 200 $100 products, or maybe 100 $100 products and 10 $1,000 products. Nice and simple, okay? Who has that kind of pricing structure, and who has those kind of price points to be able, for us to be able to build a funnel for them? In that exact example, coaches are a fantastic one, products with upsells, you know, courses, information marketing, things that are able to churn things out relatively easily. That's a fantastic place for us to start. Think about how much easier it is for your network to explain who you work with rather than what it is that you do. It's 100 times easier for your network and friends and colleagues, and like I said, even customers, to generate referrals for you when they know who you work with. After you've gone through that kind of process and you decide, you know what, we work with online course creators, to help them sell $100 courses. Now we'll stick with $100 for the time being. Anyone who comes across anyone who is an online course creator, anyone who finds a course creator who knows you, is more likely to think of you then as opposed to what it is that you can do. Now, earlier when we looked at the project, starting at the project and then trying to give a price, you could probably build the exact same funnel and get the exact same results. But now you've got a much more structured approach about who you go after and what it is that you can actually do for them. Interestingly as well, the way that we found our first kind of large-scale customer was essentially emailing everyone that we know. We went on LinkedIn, we used our own personal address book, we used a few of the people on our email list and said, look, we just work with online course creators and online coaches to help them do whatever it is. And wouldn't you know it, we came across those customers. When we started another business, we said we only work with timeshare businesses. If anyone knows anyone in the timeshare space, let us know. Sure enough, we managed to get a few calls from people. Now, working in that way might seem like a bit of a grind, but I guarantee you that doing the other way and just kind of groping about in the dark, hoping to find a customer and hoping that they'll find value in it, is a much longer and more arduous process. Instead, serving one particular market is so much more important. And interestingly, look, coaching. Okay, not necessarily something that most funnel builders would consider offering, but we're serving a market, a who. Online course creators are gonna want to know how they can continue adding revenue to their top line. And things like the 12-month hosting and updates, they know that their content lives online, and if they can't sell it, then they're going to lose out on revenue. We have 2 sales funnels, so we're able to generate them revenue from launching a new product or selling one of their current products. The who is so much more important. It becomes easier for you to do everything, such as your blog content. It's easier for you to do your webinars. It's easier for you to do your YouTube videos like this. All of this stems from understanding who, and most importantly, referrals. Just squeeze that in there, and I've spelled referrals wrong, is the easiest thing for you to generate when you know who you're going after. So tell everyone who you go after. Thanks very much, guys. That was how to find your first $25,000 or $10,000 or $100,000, whatever you wanted to call it, marketing funnel client. I'm Mike from Sell Your Service. Let me know in the comments below if that was useful, and I will speak to you later. Keep building those funnels.